So let's talk hodgepodge of issues that's happening. But first, I want to talk about a particular piece I saw on YouTube. I subscribe to The Atlantic on YouTube, and The Atlantic did a interview with that's called Nuclear Veterans Speak Out. And so this is something I touch upon on all my videos about the utter psychopathic nature, sociopathic and psychopathic nature of our leadership. And so I want you to check out the Atlantic video about Nuclear Veterans Speak Out. Because what they're talking about is being used as guinea pigs, and as I understand, 14,000 of them were used as guinea pigs for nuclear testing. So I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to watch The Atlantic, and you can understand what I'm getting at. So it's one thing to talk about conspiracy. It's another thing to actually have these conspiracies take place. And the thing is it's not above the threshold to believe that the criminals in U.S. government, in the military, in the intelligence agencies, as well as other agencies that that are supposed to keep us safe, and look out for our better interests, are responsible for the most heinous crimes imaginable. And the thing is the U.S. government has been and has always been a bunch of socio-psychopaths who are willing to commit nuclear testing on their own people. And it's not a far stretch to say that they don't consider our armed forces to be nothing more than commodities and other such things to test out. Just like the pharmaceutical companies are willing to test out their most poisonous things on us, just like the medical fields are willing to test out the most heinous things on us, and just like how all of that comes together to make it so that they can exploit us. And the reason they can do that is because of our infighting, because of our ignorance, because we're not willing to believe that the evil lies at the head, that the criminals are always there at the top, whether you're a politician or an official, or you're in law enforcement, or you're somebody who is wealthy, a wealthy aristocrat in the United States, with hereditary money and wealth gained through putting politicians into office, squeezing them to do what they want, It is, the whole system is one gigantic fuck you. And that's because they don't view us as human. They don't view us as equals. They don't view us with any value beyond what they can get, what they can do, so that they can get more money, more power, and a bigger stranglehold. That's what it comes down to. And if veterans who are all white in this video cannot demonstrate for you this, then I don't know what else. We have these sociopaths who have started wars and call everybody outside so that they can keep power, so that they can keep us infighting, so that they can make more money, turn us nothing more into commodities, slaves, serfs, peasants. Their push for Iran, their push for Venezuela, the push for North Korea. I mean, they just reported a completely and utterly fake story about how Kim Jong-un executed or sent into concentration camps the North Korean team who was supposed to talk with Trump. They're completely fake. You have how many examples do we need to see that our interest, that the fact that we are the government, because we are the country, because the country is made up of all of us. Skin tone has nothing to do with it. We are all equally looked upon. Unless you have money and influence, or a title with influence and power, we are nothing to them. And it is not a 40 or 50 year process. It's the entirety, the very foundation of this country, even before, because it has always been these self-appointed aristocrats, this nobility. They are social psychopaths. They do not deserve to live. To threaten 14,000 American military veterans for doing testing on them, to say that you can't talk about it and do not compensate them. Why even compensate? Why aren't they in jail? This is the only country who had the audacity, the evil, to use the most dangerous, vile weapon of mass destruction, which carries on into the present, and yet this country and its leadership is somehow the good arbitrators of everything. That everywhere else is despots and dictators and evil, malicious. When we, in each of our lives, are affected No matter what privilege you may think you have, that privilege is false. You are getting it as bad because you are being used. Because we all suffer. We all pay the price. We all contribute to the continued criminality. We are, in fact, contributing to our own homicides, our own extinction. Because socio-psychopaths do not understand, do not care. Because they do not have the capacity. Because it is their self-interest that they look after. It is what they want in the present. The future and longevity do not matter. Consequences do not matter. Because, in fact, they are nothing more than serial killers. And serial killers do not understand because they don't have the capacity to understand. I don't know what else to say. Watch that video from the Atlantic. You know, I want to talk about a whole bunch of other things, but this is what it comes down to. We have no value to them. And it doesn't matter how we look. We have no value to them. The only value is how we can prop them up and keep them in power. That is all.